Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Stomp This Way. Andrew, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing all right, you know. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing better than last week. We're actually ahead of schedule this week. Last week we were kind of scrambling, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyway, Andrew, what are we here to talk about?
Well, not Jaws this week,
Not Jaws.
but you know, the other franchise that also had sharks.
Right. The only other franchise in the whole wide world that has sharks.
I know, yeah. The only other franchise people think of, Deep Blue Sea 3.
Deep Blue Sea 3. That's right. The concluding chapter.
For now.
For now. Andrew was Googling as Drew finished the movie. He's like, Deep Blue Sea 4 in production. I was like, no. 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 But, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, it was confirmed by the main actress of this one.
Oh, is she coming back for another one? For another round?
For another round.
Oh, yay. I'm excited. Anyway, yeah. You want to do some production trivia? Anyway, production trivia. I don't got much. This is another direct-to-video sequel. This was released about, the 20th anniversary year of the original. So, it only took them 20 years to do 3 movies.
Yeah, it took them.
Took them 18 to do the sequels, the first sequels.
It
So.
took them like 5 years to do 3 Jaws movies or something.
See, I think, when did that third one come out? 83?
Yeah.
So it took them 8 years to do 3? Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, and less to do 4 of them.
Yeah, I don't remember when the 4th one came out. We'll be talking about that next week. But
Yeah.
Anyway, and then production began on this movie in the summer of 2019 and wrapped in May of 2020. So they spent almost a year on this movie, which, I mean, for a direct-to-video movie, I guess is a decent amount of time. But anyway, Andrew, what happened at the box office, quote unquote?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It was released on digital HD on July 28th, 2020.
Right.
Digital HD.
Middle of COVID, wasn't it? 2020?
Released on physical media. Ooh. On August 25th, 2020.
That's right. So I don't know how well it did in sales, but, you know, I guess it didn't blow it out of the water because here we are 6 years later and still don't have that sequel. But anyway, let's listen to the trailer and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the cast and crew. We'll talk about the plot and then we'll conclude our thoughts on the Deep Blue Sea trilogy. See you in a bit.
Hey, all you Shark Week fans out there. Welcome back. It's our 3rd summer here at Little Happy, an abandoned fishing village in the Mozambique Channel.
Sharks return here each year. Their home, like ours, is under attack from climate change.
Emma, what's wrong?
A half dozen people went missing about 100 miles up the Orange River. Turns out it was bull sharks.
So what do we do?
There is a buoy in the field.
It's big.
Shark!
Brown, where are you?
There he is. sharks have been altered, engineered. They're not sharks.
Climate change is making them highly aggressive towards everything.
Get out of the water!
It's all about survival, folks. That was close.
All right. There it was. Trailer for Deep Blue Sea 3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, cast and crew. This was directed by John Pogg, written by Dirk Blackman, music by Mark Killian, and starring, is it Tania Ramon, Nathaniel Buselich, and Emerson Brooks. I was like, as we were watching that movie, I was like, the lead actress looks familiar. So I looked at her Letterboxd page. She was in one of those Texas Chainsaw movies. So I had seen her in something, but
Wow.
this John Pogue guy, you were sitting here in the living room the other day watching quarantine movies. He's the guy that directed Quarantine 2, if you were wondering.
Well, that wasn't a terrible movie.
Well, I'll take your word for it. But anyway, the plot. Are you ready?
Sure.
Marine biologist Dr. Emma Collins and her team are studying the effects of climate change on great white sharks from the man-made island of Little Happy, home to a natural shark nursery. Her crew includes her late father's former military companion Shaw, graduate student Mia, tech specialist Spin, and the island's last remaining residents Nandi and Bahari. Emma's research is interrupted by the arrival of her former boyfriend, Dr. Richard Lowell, who has come to capture the genetically enhanced bull sharks that escaped at the end of the previous film. Accompanied by a team of mercenaries led by Lucas, Richard persuades Emma to help locate the animals. Tensions quickly rise after one of Lucas's men is killed by a shark. Emma and Richard successfully capture one of the juvenile bull sharks alive, rekindling some of their old chemistry. However, after Bahari is killed by another shark, Spin recovers data from the GPS tracker attached to Bella, the dead matriarch from the previous film, revealing the shark's true origin. Confronted by Emma, Richard admits the truth and explains that Bella's tracker emits a frequency the juvenile bulls associate with their mother, allowing the team to lure them. Enraged by the capture of their sibling, two of the bull sharks attack Richard's ship, repeatedly ramming the underwater observation deck. Richard threatens to kill the captive shark, forcing the others to retreat. After overhearing Richard's confession, Lucas decides the sharks must be exterminated before they can reproduce. His men plant a powerful mine in the shark nursery, but detonating it would destroy Little Happy. When Emma objects, Lucas fires explosive-tipped rounds that damage the island and ignite a fire. As chaos spreads across the island, Lucas brutally beats Shaw before leaving a mercenary behind to finish him off. Shaw instead throws the mercenary to a waiting shark. Richard ultimately sides with Emma against Lucas, but is immediately devoured by one of the bull sharks. Meanwhile, Spin and Mia become trapped inside a sinking research hut. Spin is eaten by a shark while Mia is presumed dead after the structure disappears beneath the waves. Emma dives beneath the island to disarm the mine, first disabling Bella's GPS tracker attached to it. Before she can remove the explosive, one of Lucas's mercenaries attacks her, but Sally, a great white shark Emma had been studying, kills the mercenary and saves her. Emma then secretly attaches the mine to Lucas's ship. When Lucas detonates it, his vessel is destroyed, allowing the captive bull shark to reunite with its siblings. Realizing the surviving bull sharks cannot be allowed to breed, Emma, Shaw, and Nandi set out to destroy them. Emma uses a submersible drone carrying Bella's GPS tracker to lure the sharks into position. Shaw sacrifices himself by detonating 2 explosive-tipped rounds, killing 2 of the remaining 3 bull sharks. Lucas survives the explosion and launches one final attack on Emma, but she and Nandi kill him together. Emma then lures the last bull shark into a submerged garbage compactor, crushing it to death. In the aftermath, Emma and Nandi set sail toward the mainland. Along the way, they discover Mia alive, having survived by clinging to a floating piece of debris. Reunited, the three vow to continue Emma's mission to protect the oceans as the film comes to a close. I guess, more or less.
She wasn't really clinging to the
She
debris.
was inside of it, yeah, I guess.
Inside the debris.
I don't know how she fit in there, but sure. I don't even know what it was, a dresser or
It was a
something.
dress. She
But-
could easily fit in that dresser.
She was pretty small, I guess. Yeah, true. But yeah, so here we are, Deep Blue Sea 3. So where do you take the story after the previous one? Do you even bother to make it a direct sequel since the second movie pretty much ignored the first movie?
Of course you do.
I guess you do, because this movie is going to pick up.
And
Right.
it even brings things from the original.
Yeah, they'll kind of half-ass try to tie them together at one point in the middle of this movie, but we'll get to that. But the movie opens. See, at the end of the last movie, though, it was like Bella and a bunch of baby sharks. Here, there's only Bella, and Bella's actually dead when we see her. But Bella and 3 of her youngsters have survived, I guess. I think you can tell from the opening shot we're in better hands in this movie because it's a shot of a drone shot or probably a drone shot over the ocean, and you see the 3 shark fins come up, and then we kind of get a 360 panoramic shot of this floating man-made island, right?
A little happy.
A little happy, and it looked just visually, it already looks better
Oh, yeah.
than part 2, and I'm like, okay,
All right.
maybe. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but maybe. And and then we're gonna cut, and for a little bit I was like, are they gonna try to do a found footage Deep Blue Sea movie? We get like a web blog of Emma as she goes diving and is introduced, basically explaining the location of the movie, where there's this man-made island, Little Happy. It's a fishing village, but because of this is gonna have a very ham-fisted climate change message, and because of rising sea levels, they've had to abandon their little man-made fishing village. But there's a shark nursery nearby, and they're using it as a base to study this shark nursery where great whites return annually to have babies or whatever.
Yeah.
And we have this whole thing where she confronts Sally, one of the local great whites, and she like tries to do the Chris Pratt hand thing, and then it's like, you just gently redirect her, and then Sally, of course, immediately like rams Emma into a
I like
reef.
how she said gently redirect her and then shove Sally.
Well, she's a big shark. You got to make sure she feels it, but Sally's not having any of it, and slams her against the reef or something,
Yeah.
and she starts to bleed, and they have to get out. But yeah, so basically, we're introduced to the team. Shaw, who's like looking after her, he's her dead dad's former military buddy or whatever. And as you said, this guy's doing his best Dwayne Johnson impression for this movie. And then you got to have your techie nerdy guy. Spin is his name, and he is techie, nerdy, goofy, whatever. Awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward, I guess, is the key word. And Mia, who is like their grad student transfer.
Techie nerdy girl.
She handles like the sonar equipment or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she's crushing on Spin, and they'll have some really cringy romantic stuff there or whatever. And is that the whole team? I think that's it. And then pretty quickly into the movie, we're gonna have Dr. Richard blow in. He's her former college fling or whatever.
Yeah.
But he has been hired by the pharmaceutical company to chase down these sharks and capture them. And he's got a team of mercenaries with him, led by Lucas and then some other nameless face.
Well, capture one of them and kill the rest.
Yeah, whatever. Lucas is the leader of the mercenaries. The other ones are pretty much castaways. Who cares about what their names are or whatever. But they're going to blow in. And of course, they're going to be the bad guys. We've seen a movie before. But there's also, I forget, 2, for whatever reason, there's 2 remaining people living on this island. Nandi and Bahari or whatever his name, Barahi, whatever his name was. for some reason they're sticking on this island. I don't know why, but sure,
Because
whatever.
they were born. If they're born there.
Okay. I don't know if you're literally the only two left. Like, who are you selling the fish to? Where you're getting your supplies? But whatever. Anyway.
Well, you don't need supplies when you have fish.
Anyway, here's what I'll say. I think what this movie's biggest strength is relative to the last movie. That last movie was like 2 or 3 cheap sets that we just, were stuck in for the whole movie.
And
This movie
had this one cheap set.
this movie's going to rectify that by, well, really dishing the sets. I mean, we have the set. I guess it's a set. I don't know, unless they found like an actual fishing village. But
if they did, they would have actually sunk it.
They actually sunk it. They have this set, and it's a decent set for a straight-to-video movie of this fishing village. It's old, dilapidated. Nobody lives there anymore.
They have a lot of footage of real sharks.
But what I was going to say is what this movie does right is that instead of trying to have like this one sci-fi hallway that we just have to film from different angles over and over,
And
they actually have a lot of really good underwater photography in this movie of the characters in their diving suits swimming around in the coral reefs. Like you said, real shark footage. And I don't know if I assume that they probably like
had professionals
filmed them separately and put them in the same shot, or I don't know how they did it exactly, but it looks pretty good however they did it.
Had not just CGI sharks everywhere and baby sharks that didn't barely look like sharks.
Right. I mean, now when the genetically modified bulls show up, they are CGI.
But they're not bad CGI.
Well, we'll talk about it.
They're better than the last movie.
We'll talk about it. But no, they have, like I said, they have a lot of actual real underwater photography with real animals in the shots, and it actually makes the movie feel like we're on a lot better production values, even if we probably really aren't. They just spent it more wisely than the previous movie. So that's the big improvement. But yeah, so they're going to blow in. You can tell there's some tension between the two. Shaw and Emma don't really like the mercenary people, and Emma's kind of distrustful of Richard. And he's lying to her. He's telling her that they've been following these sharks from the Orange River or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that they killed half a dozen people or something. But anyway, so they're going to go underwater, and then one of Richard's men is going to get eaten. It's kind of a cool thing where like they see him floating towards them, but they don't realize that he's actually been bitten in half until he floats past them and you see his entrails.
He's only half a person.
He's only half a person. And then, things kind of go haywire and they get pretty tense, and they demand that they help them use their sonar equipment or whatever. And then, there's some commentary about the big strong man, and
sometimes the big strong man only wants to help.
Yeah, right. And anyway, they all get back in the water, and then Richard almost gets killed by one of the sharks, but as the shark is like going at him, Emma from the surface like shoots it with a tranq dart or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got his little mesh Lord of the Rings armor on, which didn't make any sense because when she got him out, like she tranked the shark, it bit him, but it fell asleep before it could like do its thrashing thing or whatever. He still had like bite marks on him.
Mm-hmm.
What he shouldn't have had bite marks, because the mesh suit should protect you from like your skin getting penetrated. He should have like bruises where like his rib cage got crushed from the bite force, but whatever.
Well, that's all depends on, what shark you get bit by. If it's a bull shark, they probably can bite through the mesh stuff.
Well, I'm saying the point of the mesh is to prevent like the sharp teeth from like just serrating your skin. So it should crush your bones before it pierces the mesh. But whatever. It's a stupid movie. But anyway. What?
You're going too far deep into it.
We're going to have some of them rekindling their romance, and they're getting really close and personal as she's doctoring him up. And
is that what they call?
Is that chemistry? Is that what we're calling it?
Is that what we're calling it in this movie?
But anyway, she's going to, you know, basically accuse him of lying or something. But anyway,
They don't really rekindle anything. I think they just argue 99% of the time.
they do a lot of arguing in this movie. But they're going to go back to his boat. They've got the shark all strung up, and they're feeding it water or whatever, pumping water through it to keep it alive. And then he shows her that he's got the little GPS tracker off Bella, the dead shark. And they imprinted, the other sharks imprinted on the frequency from her GPS. So they think the frequency is their mother.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
Yeah.
And so, sorry if you can hear a mower in the background. Our neighbor is mowing his yard. But anyway, and he activates it and the captured shark goes crazy or whatever. But blah, blah, blah. The middle of this movie, the second act of this movie, as we get into it, is the weakest part of this movie because it's pretty light on sharks. And there's a whole bunch of the characters arguing with each other and blah, blah, blah. She's mad because he's abusing the captured shark or whatever. And they're growing distrustful of each other. And at some point, Spin went and hacked into something that got him like the GPS history of Bella's GPS tracker. So he knows that, they never went into the Orange River, but they came from that deep sea station Achilleos or whatever from the last movie. And, then she goes and confronts what's-his-face, and he admits that, well, we were hired by the pharmaceutical team that Durant worked for, but Achilleos was just the beginning. Here's where they try to haphazardly tie the two movies together because he's like,
no, he was like Achilles was the second stage.
It was second gen. It started with, the station on the first movie, and they were trying to get serum from the sharks to cure Alzheimer's, but then Durant took it and decided he wanted to make humans smarter. Really tenuous connection that really doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I guess points for trying. And blah, blah, blah. And then the best part of the movie is the two sharks are mad that their brother is captured. So they start ramming the boat, like the observation window below deck. And so Richard is so convinced of their intelligence, he goes up and puts a bolt to the head of the captured shark and hangs it over the side and threatens to murder it. And the two sharks are so smart that they recognize what's going on and back off. And it's that's the kind of camp I want from this, the last movie didn't really have that kind of camp other than the one shot where the shark was eavesdropping on their conversation or whatever. That was my favorite scene in that movie. That's probably my favorite scene in this movie because it's just so ridiculous. But anyway, Lucas, who's the mercenary, I guess he wasn't fully aware of the whole thing either because he overheard Richard telling Emma this whole thing, and now he's decided he's got to kill the sharks.
No, he knew everything.
Did he?
Did he not hear his whole spiel at the end where he's not the pharmaceutical company wasn't here to save anybody. They were here just to make.
I heard that.
That was all part of his thing from knowing it.
Okay, sure. I don't know. I think it's a little confusing.
Because after that he went to Richard right after that, and he's like, "You shouldn't have told your girlfriend everything about this."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard him say that. But anyway,
I don't know where you got he didn't know anything.
But anyway, so Lucas decides that it's time to take action. So they have their little spear gun or whatever, but out of water it looks like a straight up. Honestly, I think it might have been a Nerf gun that they just decorated as a prop for this movie.
Yeah, it looks really like a Nerf gun.
Bright green and bright blue, and it's kind of hilarious. But anyway, when the research team resists, he of course. Oh, at one point I forgot to mention. Bahari or whatever his name was went out on his little fishing boat, and the shark tricked him. It took his line and then held it, and he thought it was snagged on something. So he jumped into the water, and the shark was just holding its position, I guess.
Yeah.
And then killed him. And they find his arm washed up later or whatever.
No, they
in the
pull
net on his boat. Yeah, whatever. And then, yeah, so anyway, Lucas is going to like take them hostage. And then when they resist, there's a terribly edited fight scene where they like try to like, you know, fight back. But because these people can't do action, it goes into that really bad action movie mode where there's like 30 cuts a minute so they can hide that these people can't throw punches. And then he shoots some explosive tipped bolts at the fishing village and it starts to fire and starts to sink part of it or something. And then his men go and attach a mine to the shark nursery. And then Shaw goes into this big explanation of how the shockwave is going to funnel through the canyon and then destroy the village or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now the race is on and Emma is going to...
She's going to go down and get...
Lucas gets into a fight with Shaw and Emma's going to go down and try to get the mine or whatever. But before she does that, Lucas like beats the crap out of Shaw, goes back to the boat. I think that's when him and Richard have their little conversation. And
that's when Shaw kills the mercenary.
Yeah, he leaves, for whatever reason, he just leaves Shaw to the other guy, and the other guy keeps beating up. I'm like, why don't they just shoot Shaw and get it over with? But whatever, Shaw like throws him up in the air, and the shark comes and bites his head off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard and Lucas are having a conversation, and full on Samuel L. Jackson homage. Richard is going into this spiel about how he's going to stick with Emma because she's righteous or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes to jump off the boat to join Emma, and mid-fall, the shark jumps out of the water and eats
him whole.
And because I was starting to think, oh, this is some really cringy, sappy romance stuff. And then I'm like, oh, there's the joke. Okay. Okay. And then...
Just like with, what's the name? The two techie people.
Oh, yeah, and we'll kind of repeat it again here in a minute where, yeah, the two techie people are stuck in the sinking hut or whatever.
Their home base.
And, yeah, so the shark comes in, and it's kind of funny. I don't think they meant it this way, but, like, Spin went out. He's like, I'll come back, I promise. And he went out to get something.
No, he was going to see if the shark is close.
Okay, and he comes back, and he's like, oh, there's the shark. And then he comes up, and they start to, like, confess their love, and then the shark comes up and he's like, oh crap, and then he like climbs over her to get out of the thing, but then he pulls her up, and then they're on the top of the roof of the thing, and they're like,
well, they're not on the roof, they're on the
like the loft.
Yeah, the loft. They're getting the loft.
Is that what they are on?
Yeah.
Okay, they're on like the loft thing, and they're you know, he's goes into this big spiel about how she makes him feel, and they kiss. And they do the whole thing, and then they like, I don't know, it bumps at him or something. He's like, oh, well, lucky that wasn't a shark or whatever he says. And then the shark immediately jumps up and eats him. And then it's kind of weird because it shows her.
No, remember he's bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, they said that first. But anyway, it's kind of weird because after he gets eaten, it like cuts away, and then it shows the thing sinking, and then it shows the shark like swimming out with like a blood trail behind it, and Shaw thinks that
it's the girl's
that
blood.
Mia is dead. But anyway, yeah, so Emma is underwater. She's trying to get the mine off. I guess they attached the GPS thing to the mine to lure in the shark. She's trying to get it off. They like bolted this mine into this rock, and she's over there like with a knife trying to pry it off or something.
She's like
and then she gets attacked by one of the mercenaries. And then I knew it, you know, early in the movie when they were doing the Sally thing, I was like, this is going to be like some Chris Pratt Raptor level dumb stuff where the shark comes and saves her at the end. And damn it, I was right. And I didn't even recognize I couldn't tell the shark's apart.
She said it like 3 times when that shark came.
After it ate him, right?
No. Before and after.
I did it? Okay.
She's like, it's Sally.
I guess I forgot his name was Sally. I don't know. But anyway, the shark comes and eats the guy. And I'm like, damn it. I knew that was going to happen. Friendly great white. But anyway, she gets the thing off the rock or whatever. And then she tells Shaw, I got to do something, but you're not going to like it. I thought she was just going to swim out as far as she could and sacrifice herself. But no, she attaches it because it's a magnetic
Why
mine.
wouldn't he like that?
What?
Why wouldn't he like that?
Attaching it to his ship?
Yeah.
I guess he thought getting too close to their ship would be or she thought that he would think that getting too close to their ship would be dangerous. Or maybe he didn't like the idea of killing people. I don't know. Anyway, so
I mean, he seemed pretty good.
he already killed that one guy, didn't he? She sticks
He
the
seemed
mine.
pretty adamant to kill Lucas when he was trying to beat him up.
Yeah, to the boat. Anyway, so she swims back, and of course, we as the audience know what she did. And Lucas comes out. He doesn't know, and he's like holds up the detonator, all proud of himself, and then blows up his own boat, and it sinks. And the captured shark gets free, and so now the brothers are all reunited.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that they ate Lucas, but he'll come back here in a minute. But Shaw thinks it's time to go home, and it did kind of feel like the climax of the movie. It feels a little odd that we're gonna keep going for like another 20 minutes. But anyway, she's like, "We got to kill these sharks. They can't
Just
breathe."
like the ending of the last movie.
Yeah. Yeah. They had this little submersible drone they've been piloting around. She gets it and puts the GPS on it, immediately gets it tangled in like the soccer net or whatever underwater.
Yeah.
And so Shaw has to go in and untangle it. He's got the little like explosive bolts on his person or whatever. So he like sacrifices himself. 2 of the sharks come at him and he gets them and a bolt in each fist and like jams it into their heads and explodes. So he kills 2 of the sharks. So there's only 1 left.
He's the real MVP.
He's the real MVP. Then Lucas comes back.
I think he has the most charisma in the whole movie.
I think he does too. Lucas comes back and starts beating up on Emma. And then, what was her name? Nandi had like a spear on her, a couple of spears on her wall. So she throws one at him and it distracts him long enough for Emma to like shove a knife into his heart.
A heart into his knife.
A heart into his knife. Ooh. And but anyway, kills him. And then for some reason there's a trash compactor in the water.
Well, it's a trash compactor that was, they had earlier with Sears throwing trash in.
That's right. They did set it up, I guess.
Because, he was blowing things up earlier and it fell.
Yeah. So she gets in it and lures the shark in it, and then she's trying. Of course, the button's like underwater behind her, and
she can't get the door open because it's jammed.
And the door's jammed, so she's having to like reach her hand in there and try to crush it.
The slowest trash compactor.
The slowest trash compactor ever. And although I don't know, I say that when I worked at the grocery store, we did have like a box compactor thing, basically a trash compactor. And it was pretty slow, but anyway, she's slowly crushing this shark. And then, of course, it sinks some more and the shark's jaws get closer. And then, but it is hilarious because it's like she's crushing the shark, its head swells up, and then it just like pops like a balloon.
I don't think sharks do that.
I don't think it would work that way, but whatever.
I think it would just crush it.
I think it would crush it, yeah. And I don't think there'd be any popping, but anyway, whatever.
What do I know about sharks?
And then Nandi gets her out, and they get on Nandi's boat, and on the way back to shore, they come across this floating dresser or whatever, and Mia was hiding in it, and she pops out with a knife, and it's an emotional reunion. And then at the end, they're like, we're going to stick together and save the planet, or whatever. And credits roll.
Oh, the civilization sound.
Yeah. Yeah, so listen, like I said, I think it's a much more competent movie than last time. The production values look better. They've actually, filmed this. Like I said, some actually good underwater photography and everything.
Yeah.
A decent set for this village. A little more fun, I think. A little more campy. My big problem with that last movie was that it wasn't like it was so self-serious. Right? It didn't really have any campy fun other than that one scene of him, the shark eavesdropping or whatever. But this one, it kind of goes back more to the tone of that first movie where it knows it's a campy, cheesy shark movie, and obviously it doesn't have near the budget of that first movie. So, like the sharks backing off because he threatens to kill their brother, or the shark jumping up and meeting Richard and halfway down his dive and eating him, or eating the techie guy after he confesses his love or whatever. Like, that's good camp. Now, I do wish I think this movie could use a lot more of it, but you know, at least it's there. And the trash compactor bit too is kind of campy and fun. But yeah, I mean, it's still a bad movie. You know, the performances, the actors are terrible. The dialogue is cringy. The, you know, romance subplots are cringy. But, you know, it's direct to video. What do you expect?
What did you want from it?
I know. I guess too much to ask, right? But yeah. You want to do creature design?
Sure.
Well, they're sharks. Yeah, they're the big bull sharks from last time. They're CGI. I mean, yeah, they're sharks. They look a little, I don't know, they looked a little scarred or something, or one of them did. But
Well, one that looked scarred was Sally.
was that Sally?
That was Sally.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are there any, I mean, other than the real footage of sharks, are there any like animatronics in this movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I was trying to think maybe a couple of shots, like close-up shots of Sally when she's like pushing her on the nose or something. Maybe a couple of shots of the shark on deck when it's not moving. But I don't think so. I think it's
Mostly CGI.
mostly CGI. I'm getting into effects. I mean, listen, kind of like what I said about the last movie. If we're a straight-to-video movie, CGI is okay, I guess.
It's not bad.
Definitely some scenes look better than the others. Some scenes I'm like, you know, that CGI is not bad. And then there are other scenes where I'm like, ooh, that was pretty close to Asylum level CGI right there. So, you know, it kind of varies, but it's not consistently so bad that it just pulls me out of the movie.
You don't know Asylum bad until you watch an Asylum movie like I have.
I mean, I've seen some Asylum movies. I know how bad they get. We watched those sci-fi, I mean, they're not Asylum, but straight to sci-fi, like Anaconda, Lake Placid movies. Those are pretty bad.
That's bad. You should see an Asylum movie.
I mean, like I said, I've seen some and they're bad, but
You have never seen Sharknado. I don't think that's Asylum, though. Oh, I think it is.
that's sci-fi, I think.
That's sci-fi.
No, I mean, I've seen Boa versus Python or whatever. I mean, I know it gets bad, but anyway.
Atlantic Rim.
Atlantic Rim.
That's a
Anyway, my point is the effects are not good, but for a straight-to-video movie, whatever. Good enough, I guess. And especially now this has got a more campy tone, I guess I can kind of go with it. And then score, you know, very generic, like super dramatic bass score. Boom, boom, boom kind of stuff, you know. But whatever. But anyway, you ready for final thoughts?
Sure.
Why don't you go for it?
Like we said, this movie is not bad, you know. I think it's better than the last one. It might be the second best Deep Blue Sea movie, you know.
Oh yeah, it is a low bar to clear. It is the second best Deep Blue Sea movie. Yeah,
but I think the first one still got beat.
Oh yeah,
it has LL Cool J and
of
Samuel
course.
L.
It's an actual movie. Yeah,
It's an actual made movie.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, this movie, all right. You know, I think the person with the most charisma is Shaw.
Yeah,
You know, he's trying
yeah.
to do his best Dwayne The Rock Johnson impression, you know. He would do it really good if he could do that eyebrow thing that he can do.
Yeah, the rolling eyebrow thing. Yeah,
I can't do that.
no.
And, you know, all the other actors, they act, you know, they have lines. They speak them.
Yeah,
They have some charisma to them. They try a little. They're not like some of the actors from some movies are that's literally just saying lines. And, you know, you're like, there is no heart behind what they're saying.
yeah.
They're just literally just reading lines and being like, this is what's happening at this moment.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, score's all right. The animation, you know, the effects on this is not bad. I think I'll give it a C minus.
Okay, yeah, like I said, it's a definite improvement over the last movie. We're in a more competent director's hands, more competent writing, at least in terms of knowing to make it campy. Now, all that's relative. It's still a bad straight-to-video movie, okay? I mean, the acting's bad. Really, the actors, I think, were cast just mostly to look pretty. There's a lot of female and male gaze in this movie. Emma, who's a very attractive woman, spends a lot of time in her underwear. And then both Lucas and Richard spend a lot of time with their shirt off in this movie. But, it is what it is. Acting's terrible, dialogue's bad, all that.
Yeah.
In the middle of the movie is kind of slow as we kind of get into like the tension of the two groups and all that, and kind of get away from the sharks for a little bit. But like I said, I appreciate that this movie's more campy than the last film, trying to get back to the more of that tone of that first Deep Blue Sea movie. The effects are passable for what kind of movie it is. The shark stuff is kind of fun with, the sharks eating Richard and ramming the glass and, all that kind of stuff. And, I appreciate that, again, visually the movie looks better. We're not stuck in the same hallway set for, half the movie where you actually have some real underwater footage of them swimming around and actual coral reefs and everything. Almost resembles a nature documentary a little bit. Is the global warming climate change message a little heavy-handed? Yeah, it's basically a climate change a PSA movie. But, that's fine, whatever. At least it has a message, unlike that last movie, I guess. I guess the last movie's message was something about AI or something. I don't remember, but
AI is taking over. We need to be smart.
Yeah, we got to be smart. Yeah, so I mean, it's a bad movie. It's better, but it's better than the last movie. I'll give it like a D+, I guess. Whatever, If I were ranking the Deep Blue Sea movies, it'd be 1, 3, 2. 1, big gap. 3, 2. Well, actually, probably 1, big gap. 3, big gap. 2. But yeah.
No, I don't know if there's that big of a gap between 3 and 2.
Maybe not that big of a gap, but whatever. Yeah. So anyway,
do we have news?
Not a lot. I did see where Funko is going to debut their legendary Space Godzilla figure at San Diego Comic-Con. So, I mean, they're not like debuting, like, I think the new design is just the basic like poster version of Space Godzilla, but that pretty much, dispels all doubt about Space Godzilla being in this movie. But I have seen some rumors and supposed leaks where Space Godzilla is not the only villain in the movie. So we'll see. A trailer may be coming at San Diego Comic-Con. That would...
You never know. It might be Destroyer.
I don't know what other cosmic enemies Godzilla has. Gigan, I guess. Is Gigan really going to be a bigger threat than Space Godzilla? I don't know. I do love Gigan, though. We already did Ghidorah. I mean, I guess they could do Monster X or something, but he kind of turns into Ghidorah. So I don't know. But,
maybe, they get Megalon.
Megalon. But Megalon is not a cosmic monster. He's a subterranean monster, okay?
They call the people that control Megalon was in contact with cosmic beings.
They were in league with Nebula Space Hunter M or whatever.
So, it's not out of the realm.
Yeah, I guess so. But, yeah, that's really all the news I had. So, anyway, do you have anything else?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, we're going to be doing Jaws the Revenge next week to conclude our Shark Fest.
Yeah.
I guess. And then we're going to be going into G-Fest. We'll be taking a week off for G-Fest. And then we'll come back from G-Fest and we'll do the Thing trilogy stuff. So, anyway, I think that's all I got this week. Don't forget, you can always contact us at 19stompthisway1954@gmail.com. Yeah.
You can contact us at you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And you can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and X, all at Stomp This Way. So check that out. And if you would, please leave us a review on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts, wherever you are listening to us. And yeah, next week, Jaws, the Revenge. And as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
We'll see you next time.